Hi students, this is the first video lesson I am uploading in YouTube channel. Recently I have created my YouTube channel SNB Maths class. My name is SN Bhatt. I am a maths teacher having an experience of about 35 years. I have taught CBSE 10th standard, 11th and 12th, and I have taught Karnataka PU, first PUC and second PUC. I am also taking the classes for JEE, Karnataka CET, etc. So I have started uploading the Karnataka PU syllabus and National Open School syllabus, both 11th and 12th standard. This is the first video lesson for CBSE 10th standard. I have been uploading the lessons regularly. For this 10th standard CBSE mathematics also, I will be regularly uploading the lessons in my channel. So please subscribe my channel and share with your friends. If you like this video, and this will be a regular program. Let me first introduce what is the plan of uploading my lesson. My lessons will be consisting of two main types. One is called main lesson ML, another one is called supplementary lesson. In ML, what I do is I will take all the theoretical concepts, for example, definition, formula, theorems, derivations, etc., with relevant examples. So this is main lesson. This will have sequence like this: ML1, ML2, etc., depending on the requirement of the concept to be taught in a particular chapter. Then SL consists of once again 1, 2, 3, etc. Here I will be taking the exercise problems. See, once we know the concept very well, solving the problems will be very easy. Therefore, what I have planned is first I will be discussing only the theoretical concepts with relevant examples. Once you are confident, you have to start solving the problems for that supplementary lesson. So this is my plan, and this is the first lesson. So let me take the first chapter, number system, and let us discuss the important concepts of this chapter step by step. The problem of number system is like this. In the ninth standard, you have studied the number system. Let me recall. N is the first set, that is 1, 2, 3, etc. This is the first set, natural numbers. Then what we did was, whole number means we have to include 0, then 1, 2, 3, etc. This is whole number. Then we extended this including the negative integers, -2, then -1, 0, 1, 2, etc. Then there were fractions. So what did we do was, this is not sufficient, was not sufficient. So we did actually like this. We took a number line like this. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2, etc. This is -1, this is -2, etc. Then we started filling the points here with the fractions. For example, 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 4, like that. And we know that between any two rational numbers, there is one more rational number. So like that we started filling this one. So that is called Q. And we know that Q is P by Q, set of all numbers P by Q, such that P belongs to Z. It can be both positive and negative. Q belongs to N. If you write, it is sufficient, because here we need not take negative. Both positive and negative you can take here, including 0 also. This is rational number. And all the points here you can fill. But even if you fill all the points, you know that there are some gaps left out. And those gaps are filled by another type of number. This is called set of irrationals. So then what we did was, we combined these two sets, both rational and irrational. For example, here we are filling all the points. Some points are filled by rational numbers. The remaining points are filled by irrational numbers. Irrational number means, for example, you can take root 2, then root 3, etc. So when we fill all these numbers, this becomes complete. Complete in the sense there is no point left out. For every point here, we can find one number. Either it is rational or irrational. And for every number, you have one point. That means it is a continuous line. So this is called R, set of reals. This is what we studied last year. And we have studied some properties, etc. Now what we are doing in this chapter is once again number system. We are taking only integers, and for the sake of study, we don't take negative integers also, we take only positive integers. That means all this including 0 also. Then we study some of the properties. So that is the plan of this chapter actually. And in this chapter we are studying one is Euclid's lemma or theorem actually, but it is called lemma. So this is one thing we are studying. I am going to discuss this one first. Then we are studying an algorithm. This is the second we are doing, algorithm, Euclid's algorithm, the same thing, Euclid's algorithm. Using this algorithm, we are finding HCF of two given positive numbers, positive integers. This is what we do. This is the first thing. In the second part of this chapter, what we are doing is fundamental theorem of arithmetic. We are studying arithmetic. I am not going to talk anything about this one. Let us talk in a separate lesson. What we are considering is only this much. Euclid's lemma we are studying. Then we are studying algorithm used on that lemma, based on that lemma. Then using algorithm we are finding the HCF of two given positive integers. So this is what we are going to do. So let us be very clear about what we are going to do. Now before I proceed, let me first clarify what is the meaning of HCF. You know the abbreviation, of course, full form of HCF is highest common factor. So HCF is highest common factor. Now let me first revise what is the meaning of HCF. Let us take, for example, a number 18, another number 12. So the factor of 18 I have to list. No doubt 1 is the factor, 2 is the factor, 3, then 6, then 9, then 18. So these are the factors of 18. Similarly, if you take this one, 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 6, then 12. These are the factors of 12. Now what is the meaning of HCF? The word itself says, first thing is that it should be common. So let us list all the common factors. So common factors are 1 is the common factor, you can see very well here. 2 is the common factor, I have tried to do. 3 is also common, so 3. 4 is not common, but 6 is common. So no other factors are common. So 9 is factor of 18, but it is not here like that. So common only we have taken. Now try to understand. Highest common factor, HCF. Among the common factors, whichever is highest, that we have to take. So the HCF of these two is therefore 6. So this is our HCF. Actually, this is one procedure of finding HCF. That means given any two number, write all the factors. But remember, this is not easy. Suppose the number is very, very large. Writing all the common factor is very difficult because some factors we may miss also. So this is the difficulty. But you have already seen one method of finding HCF. For example, this method only, factorization method. Using that we can do. But there is another simple method of finding HCF of two positive integers. Let us study them first. But before that, we have to study this lemma, that is Euclid's lemma. So what is Euclid's lemma? First let me give some example. Let us take a number, say a equal to 10 and b equal to say 3. Now you know that of course a should be more, b should be less in the beginning. So we can divide this 10 by 3. You know this one, 3 3s are 9 and the remainder is 1. So this we can write 10 equal to 3 into this 3 plus 1. Now let me take a few more examples. Let us take next a equal to say 11 and b equal to say 8. I can take any two positive numbers. So let us take now a is 11 and b is 8. Now here is very simple. 11 can be written as 8 into 1 plus 3. Similarly, suppose you take, say, let us take a big number 18, a equal to 18, and say b equal to 6, let me take. Then we can write 18 as 6 into 3 plus 0. So 0 also possible. So meaning, and you know the meaning of this one. This is divisor, this is quotient, this is dividend, this is divisor, this is quotient, this is remainder. So actually we call it as Q, this is R. So in our representation, this is A, this is B. Therefore, in general, we can say, given any two numbers A and B, of course, assumption is A is more than B, then A can be written as B into Q. So this number, the second number here, this is called Q plus R. And what is R? You can see here, this R is always less than this one, B. And it can be 0 also. So it is always less than this number and it can be 0 also. So condition is 0 less than R less than B. Actually, this is called Euclid's lemma. So now let me state what is lemma. So the lemma is this. Lemma means actually theorem. There is a small difference, but you need not worry. That is the thing. So Euclid's lemma says, if A and B are two positive integers, then there exist two unique, that is important, unique integers Q and R such that this A will be equal to BQ plus R. This is the first condition. Second one is 0 less than R less than B. So this is called Euclid's lemma. This is the statement of the lemma. Now once again let me go back. Let us take for example A equal to say 17. Let me take A equal to 17 and let me take B equal to say 3. Now according to this lemma, what should happen is I should be able to find one Q and another R. Condition is R should be either 0 or it should be less than B, but it should be an integer. So what we have to do is 17 should be written in terms of this B and Q and R. So if it is difficult for you, you have to do like this. 17 divided by 3. 5 is a 15. So remainder is 2. 2 is less than 3. So you have to be careful that remainder should be always less than this one. So therefore I can write, first I have to write this 3 into whatever is this one, quotient actually Q. So that is 5, then 2. So and another thing is it can be written in a unique way. So this 5 and R are unique. So this is the meaning of lemma. Let me take a few more examples so that it is convenient. Let us take some big number. Say for example 103 A equal to B equal to say 7. So let us find how to write this one now. So let us 103 equal to directly writing is not easy. Therefore what we do is 103 divided by 7. So 7 ones are 7. So it is 3. Bring down 3. So 33. 28. 5. 0. So what we have tried is B you have tried first. Always B. Therefore 7 into. This is cube. 40 plus 5. And you see here this 5 is less than 7. So and sometimes it can be 0 also. So this is the procedure. So any given A and B, you can always find two unique numbers Q and R. Condition for R is that it is always less than B. That's the first thing. It can be 0 also. For example, let me take A equal to 100 and B equal to say 20. So what happens is 100 can be, it is very simple, 100 can be written as 20 into 5 plus 0. Here the remainder becomes 0. So it can be 0 also. So that is the meaning of lemma. Now the question is how to use this. Actually this can be used to find the HCF of two given integers. So that is done by using an algorithm which is called Euclid's division algorithm. So this is the name actually, division algorithm, Euclid's. Now what is the meaning of algorithm? Algorithm means it is a step-by-step procedure of solving a given problem. That is the meaning of algorithm. A set of procedures to get solution for a given problem. That means I am given two numbers A and B, positive integers. I want to find the HCF. I do certain steps, step by step, and I get the result. So let me first explain how to get it. Then of course we can generalize and we can find the HCF. How to find the HCF? So let us take for example, say A equal to, let me take some specific questions. Say 455, some big number only we will take, and B equal to 42. So what we have to do is now recall Euclid's division algorithm, division lemma. Division lemma says given any two numbers like this, we can always find two numbers Q and R satisfying A equal to BQ plus R. Therefore, A here is 455, B is 42. So 455 can be written as B means 42. If you have difficulty, don't worry. First you do this procedure 455, because in textbook what they give directly this one. You may not understand how this comes. So this is the procedure. 455 divided by 42. 42 ones are 42. Then 35. Then 0. Because you can't go further. Once otherwise it becomes a decimal division. So you can write this as into 10 plus remainder is 35. Now check this condition. R should be less than B, correct. So here it is 35 which is less than 42. So this is the first step. In finding the HCF, this is the first step. You need not write first step etc. But just for your understanding I am writing this is the first step. Now in the second step what you have to do is take this B as A. Now you have to consider A equal to 42 and whatever you get here that should be taken, so this one 30, so this R should be taken as B. Remember this should be taken as B. The remainder you are getting in the previous step that should be taken as B. So this is the second step actually. So now once again same division algorithm you have to use. So this 42 can be written as now 35 into 1 plus, so 7. You can check 35 into 1 is 35 plus 7 is, otherwise divide here. So this is very simple, therefore I have not written. So this is the second step. Okay. Then next step what you have to do, this is the second step. In the next step what you have to do is you have to proceed further till you get this remainder 0. That is the last stage. So here I have to take now a equal to this, every time this b becomes a, so 35, and the remainder becomes b, so this is 7. Now 35 equal to 7 into 5 plus 0. Therefore this is the HCF. Remember, you have to proceed up to you get 0. It may be first step only you may get, second step, third step, fourth step, any number of steps. The moment you get 0, stop, and this b from where you are dividing, that becomes the HCF. So therefore you have to write, therefore HCF is of course given numbers. The given numbers are 45, 455 and 42 is 7. So this is the method. Now let me take a few more examples so that this idea will be clear. So let me take the old example only. Say I had taken this one, a equal to 18, b equal to 12. Let us take this example. Let us see, and we know that 6 is the HCF. So let us check whether we get this or not. Now first step, so 18 equal to, now 12 into 1 plus 6. 12 plus 6 is 18. So this is the first step. This is first step. Now what you have to do is take a equal to this one, b. This b becomes a here, 12, and b should be the remainder, whichever you get here. Now in the second step you have to write 12 will be equal to now 6 into 2 plus 0. So in the second step only, you are getting 0. So this is the HCF. Therefore I can write here HCF of 18 and 12 is 6. See, sometimes we are very lucky, we will be getting the HCF easily. The moment you get 0, remainder 0, you have to stop. And for that particular step, whatever is b, that you have to take as HCF. So that is the method. Now let me give one more example. Find the HCF of, let us say, 52 and 18. So let us take a equal to 52 and b equal to 18. So I have taken some simple examples beginning, because in your textbook very big numbers are given. Don't worry whether it is big number or small number, we have to divide and find, that's all. Only it's a question of time, but concept is same. So first step is now 52 should be written as, so 18 into plus remainder. Since if it is difficult, you do this one, 52 divided by 18, 2s are 36. So it is 6 and 1, 16. 16 is the remainder and remainder is less than 18, correct. So into 2, then 16. Therefore here, this is the first step. Then what you have to do is, this b should be taken as a. Therefore it's always better you write this method. So a is now 18. What is b for the second step? Whatever remainder comes, that is b. So b is 16. Now what you have to do is, 18 can be written as, 16 into 1 plus 2. So this is the second step. Now what you have to do is, a should be here, whatever is b here, that should be taken as a, so it is 16. Then what is b here, whatever is remainder, that you have to take b. Once again, this is the third step actually, so we have to go up to 3 steps. Now 16 equal to, a should be written 2 into 8 plus 0, because 2 into 8 is 16, so remainder is 0. So the remainder is 0 means this b is the HCF. Therefore HCF of 52 and 18 is 2. So this is the method. So this is called division algorithm. Why it is called algorithm? Because there are steps, step by step. and using this we get the HCF. Let me conclude here. What we have done today is we started with the concept of HCF actually, but before that we stated one important theorem actually, that is called lemma, Euclid's division lemma, which says given any two numbers A and B, A can be written as B times Q plus R. And what is the condition for R? It is 0 less than R less than B. So R cannot be more than B. That is the condition. And I told you A and B, whenever you take, A should be more than B, but it is not necessary actually. It can be reverse also. Even then we can do, because there is no condition for Q. Those things let me clarify in the next class. First you revise this and try to take a few numbers. You need not take very big number in the beginning. Take some small numbers and try to find the HCF using the algorithm, so that you will be confident this is how I can do it. So you can also refer the textbook and do a few questions. So anyway, I will be doing the supplementary lesson. I will take some of the questions and solve. So this is the first concept. In the next main lesson, I will be taking the second important theorem, that is called fundamental theorem of arithmetic, and there are certain applications that we shall do in the next class. Until then, bye, take care.